Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Truth We Hide podcast. Thank you for being on here. So far, we've had so many amazing guests, and I always get excited when I meet new people. And today's guest is Lee Chambers. He, man, reading his little background here, it's definitely a powerful one. I love asking people their why, and his why is, he's battled through redundancy, mental health issues, and he lost the ability to walk in 2014 at the age of 29 when his son was only 18 months old and his wife was 6 months pregnant. So, you know, his purpose and his mission now is to help people get through their own challenges, see the growth that they come from their suffering, and to become empowered to make a change themselves and forge their own true path in life. So I can't wait for you to hear how he even, continues his strength day in and day out. So Lee, thank you so much for being on here. And where are you calling us from again?
So I'm from Preston in the United Kingdom, which is not far from Manchester, so up in the north.
Oh, wow. So tell us, I know I've read some of your background, but tell us more about all of this. I mean, so you go ahead and tell us. I don't want to spoil everything.
So yeah, just a little bit about me. I grew up in the UK. I was part of a family where we just had enough money to get by. So I had food on the table and roof over my head. And I was the first one in my whole family to go to university. So that was seen as a big achievement. But I had quite struggled at university with the transition from transitioning to being an adolescent into an adult. I really struggled to find and define who I was going to be as a man. So that kind of put me on a path where I fell out of uni and then had to go back again. But I did manage to then graduate and bounce back to then go out into the corporate world, straight into the financial crash in 2008. So I got myself a job, worked really, really hard, was about to start my special training, and all that was taken away, the job, the training. So I had to bounce back again. I ended up setting up a business and working in a number of different industries, trying to find what I wanted to do. And then I unfortunately lost the ability to walk. It was over the course of a week. I went from fully independent, fully mobile to in a hospital bed, my joints locked in place, seriously ill and wondering what my future was. Yet in so many ways, through all those challenges, I've realised that if you take ownership on the other side of the few things that you can control, suddenly you can be proactive with those and really push on further. And through all those little bumps in my road, I've managed to come back again. And I almost see our life is like a heartbeat, like an ECG. It's constantly up and down. And if it was flat, we'd be dead. So we wouldn't have that uncertainty and we wouldn't have that challenge that makes us grow. So yeah, all those challenges and all the opportunities that I've had, I combine them together, and now I help individuals and businesses to understand just how powerful our health is, just how big an asset our mental health and our bodies are, and how important it is for businesses to be purposeful and conscious of their employees as people who can be developed, who can be appreciated, and who can grow and become more within a business rather than be worked so hard and so uncared for that they become disillusioned and not motivated.
That's incredible. I mean, how do they ever find out why you suddenly stopped being able to walk?
Yeah, so what they actually found is that my immune system, so some of my white blood cells, I'd started to think that some of the tissue in my joints was an infection. So it had almost reprogrammed itself to attack me. So my own immune system was attacking my joints, and that caused them to lock in place, which then caused large amounts of swelling, which effectively pushed my joints around in a really awkward way. And that just left me stuck in hospital and obviously facing many challenges at a time in my life when in so many ways, it started to, you know, really go up. And in the year before, my son had been born. I'd got married to my wife, and we'd bought our first house and gone on together and gone on honeymoon. And all of a sudden, you think you're on this, you know, way to happily ever after, and then life strikes you with a bolt of lightning and really makes you look inside yourself and think. But in that time in my hospital bed, I started to realise, after that initial shock where I'm like, oh, I'm not even 30, and suddenly I don't know what's going to happen. So that shock hit me at first, and after the shock came the disappointment, like the doesn't seem very fair, the why me, and then after that came the grief of suddenly, what if I can't walk again? I've kind of lost my physicality and my mobility, things that I as a man attached to quite a bit. But after that, in the second week, what actually happened is all of a sudden, I started to realise there's people coming here to help me shower, to help me eat, to move me around. I've not been that grateful for these amazing people who are now caring for me. I've walked around the planet for 29 years, and never once have I thought, it's amazing that I can walk. And I started to think, actually, I've grown up in the first world. I've always had food, I've always had shelter, I've had free education. I'm now getting free healthcare. I have had lots of opportunities to learn, lots of opportunities to work in industry, the freedom to set up a business. I've not had to face war, I've not had to face poverty. Why should I lie here and be ungrateful? And that really sparked a fire in me to think, okay, so this disease, I can't control it. It's happened to me. I'm going to have it for the rest of my life, but I'm going to take ownership. I'm going to say, I'm going to attack it as much as it's attacking me. And not long after I was discharged from hospital, my daughter was born, and I kind of saw her there. I had to adapt so many parts of my life because I couldn't get around properly. And yet she was there as a baby, and I decided she's going to learn so much over this next year. And in that, she's going to learn to walk again. By the time she's walking, I'm going to be walking as well. And as I saw her start to learn to do little things and sit up and feed herself, I was like, it's coming, and I need to grow as much as she's growing. And I almost need to start again, think about all the basics and be self-aware like a little baby is, because you come into the world and you've not got all the baggage. You've not got all these beliefs that you've picked up from your childhood, from your experiences. You're just pure, you're you. And I kind of decided to pull all my beliefs back and start again and try and build the person that I was authentically. And in so many ways, that's kind of made me realise there's a lot of gifts that everyone has to give to the world. And I have a real resonance with military veterans with lower limb injuries and amputees, because they also lost a part of their physicality and have adapted and acclimatized back to civilian world. And in so many ways, you just realize it's not just you. So many other people have had a shared human experience. Some people haven't had the mobility from birth. And I started to think, if I was an orphan on the other side of the world, I wouldn't have had anyone to care for me. Maybe not a hospital to lie in. Maybe no treatment or medication to help me on my way. And it just really made me think, I need to go out there and help other people, empower them to make choices that they want, to help them find their path so they can be empowered to help others as well.
Oh my gosh. I'm absolutely impressed. At such a young age, I say 29 is young, because sometimes, 29-year-olds are still trying to find their way, but you took this experience and tried to make it into a positive one. And I'm sitting here listening to you, and I'm thinking about 2 years ago when I was in a car accident and I was in the hospital for 5 weeks. I was so mad at the world. Like, why me? Why did this guy have to hit us? Why my daughter? Why? And I had to be reminded constantly that God has obviously had a purpose, because he kept me alive through something that no one knew how we survived from. And so, after I felt sorry for myself and was angry, and I had to learn how to walk again, I had to learn how to use my arm, all these things, I had to learn to be grateful because it could have been worse. And I couldn't be here. So I'm listening to you and I'm thinking, my gosh, it's just, we can learn so much from these experiences. Instead of feeling sorry for ourselves, we kind of need to look deeper and realize what we should be grateful for. And so you're still here. You had something that just came out of the blue and you turned it into a positive message. And I love how you were going to walk when your daughter started walking. So it was like this goal, and you wanted to show her how it is to be so strong, and both mentally and physically, because I'm sure you had to train yourself to want to continue to get up every day and start again.
Yeah.
And so I think it's incredible. And now you want to help other people, and not a lot of people can do that. When we go through such a traumatic experience, we kind of want to give up, and we don't know how to help other people. So you're a well-being consultant and the founder of a centralized workplace well-being. And so now, how did you decide that you wanted to start something like this? Was it from all these experiences that you decided, I need to build a business around this so I could continue to help other people?
Yeah, so in so many ways it comes from that. So when I was working, my corporate job was as a financial well-being consultant. So I would go and help people to get the finances right, and that really fulfilled my desire to work with statistics and to help people at the same time. But obviously that was taken away due to the credit crunch, and I then went into local government working with unemployed people to help them get back into the workplace. So again, I was helping them build the confidence, find the job that they wanted, and then giving them the training around the communication skills so they could go to interview and really clearly express why they wanted to be there, why they wanted to work there. And that again, when these people came in and they didn't really know, and I would kind of help them through questioning them and unpeeling them a little bit like an onion to find out, what gold was inside them, ready to go and express to the world. It was really fulfilling. And that actually led me to do qualifications around nutrition and training and soccer coaching. So I actually got to spend 6 months working in sports performance, which then showed me the other side, performance at an elite level, the tiniest little gains that you try and get, and how much experimentation and testing, money was spent on that. And that opened my eyes to what's possible, but also made me think this time and energy could be spent on your typical person, and it would change so many lives. And it was at that point that I got struck down and lay flat on a hospital bed. And because I've been through that experience and I got those qualifications and I've been in those different industries and in those different positions, really what it was is putting all that together. So I gradually started to learn how to coach people and how to ask powerful questions and start to unpeel people so they could really get that alignment with what they want. And then I could encourage and empower them forward. And I kind of said, I want to bring this to a bigger scale, start to work inside companies and bring it there, because I'll be able to impact more people if I can go into a company and speak to different departments. So I kind of said to myself, by the time my daughter starts school, because I know that if I spend the time with them now, I'll not regret it, because when they go to school, I won't see them as much. And I'll be able to do my business during the day and go into the companies. So I made that decision to wait until my daughter started school, and she started in September. So I started building up the delivery into the companies in July last year. And it's just gone from there and really flied through as it's got. I mean, with the whole situation at the moment, things have changed slightly, but in so many ways that crisis has made me innovate and pivot slightly and be a bit more creative with what I do. And in so many ways, it's just that when you have that passion, and I kind of remember back to having to wake up in the morning and do everything